Welcome to SA Beer Weekly. Now, I've got a bit of sad news to start the show. Holly isn't with us. Hooray! No Holly! Just the boys drinking beer. The boys drinking beer, no Holly. It's going to be a decent show. I've got with me today Jackson Beavis, head brewer from the Woolshed Brewery. Thanks for coming on the show, mate.
G'day, welcome. Thanks for coming.
We're going to start with a bit about the history. Tell me a little bit about the history of the Woolshed. Now, did it start with hiring housemates?
Yeah, that's right. You're well informed.
No, well, I just might have had a chat to you before the show, but yeah. Anyway, tell us.
Yeah, this place started. If I can go right back,
go as far as you can.
It's one of the first settled properties in the whole region. There's actually a shearer's cottage out back, a settler's cottage out back from around 1850. So that property starts there, 1850.
1850.
Yeah. So the property has been established since then, you could say, and you can go through all the years and a lot of history up to now.
Give us some highlights.
Well, you've got the old cottage, and that's still there. We're trying to restore it, trying to get it back to people to come along and have a look, so they can appreciate where this place has come from, you know. And it started. The main boom for it started as a sheep station.
Yeah.
And we're hence the woolshed. Yeah. So we're in the old shearing part of it. Cool. It didn't actually start as a shearing shed. This was a storage shed to service paddle steamers for the river down here, and then it got turned into the shearing shed as the property evolved and more buildings came and went, and it sort of evolved into what we see now.
Wow, it's absolutely amazing.
There's a real big story about it. We really try and highlight the history of what, you know, where the place has come from. And show people that side, because it is interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. I can't believe 1850.
Yeah.
Think back to then. They wouldn't have been making beer, would they?
Yeah, it's a bit hazy for me.
Oh, it's a bit hazy, right?
Yeah.
When I remember back to then, there was beer being made, but 1850s.
Yeah, it would have been a bit rough, I reckon.
Would have been a bit rough.
They would have liked a brewery in their Woolshed.
Might have been an IPA.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think somebody told us that that's where the IPA was originated.
It's a bit of a historical style.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of a traditional style, a bit stronger and hoppier for those big journeys.
Lasted longer.
Lasted longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So where are we going to start? I've had enough of the history. I'm as keen as to get into these
That's
beers.
the history side out of the way.
Right, done. Let's get into the beers. Where are we going to start?
Well, we've got a selection of we've got 4 beers and our hard lemonade as well. So we're going to look at some maybe going from the lighter stuff down to a dark ale. Match it with some food here that we offer.
Yeah.
And then wrap our heads around this hard lemonade idea.
Awesome. So when people come here, they can come here for birthdays, weddings, hire the venue.
Absolutely. Yep. Yes, we've got lots of room. It can be used in many different ways. We've had weddings, we've had big celebrations. Come here with your pet dog and have a look around, you know.
So open Wednesday through to Sunday?
To Sunday, yeah.
Hasn't always been that way though, has it?
We were open 7 days a week for a long time, but we've wound it back to close Monday, Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So we can get some of this done.
Yeah.
You know?
Bit of advertising. Yeah.
Just sitting around and eating.
Bit of sitting around and drinking and having a nice platter.
Yeah.
All right, let's crack into the first beer, I reckon.
Right.
So you're going to disappear behind the bar and pour one?
Let's do one, yeah.
All right, let's go.
For tap.
Oh, you chopped yours up a bit, did you?
Oh, I just put a bit of, you know.
You could have said it was a
make it look presentable. No, it was alright. You know, a bit of vigour always helps.
All right, fair enough. Good work.
I get that one.
All right, so tell me about this beer. Obviously, I've conned you into it because we needed a summer ale to start with because it's my favourite beer. Very, very light in colour.
Yes. So summer ale is very simple. It's ale malt, a touch of wheat, kind of a nod to the wheat growing side of the property as it was. We use little touches in the beer, little local references around the place. But the wheat also helps the beer maintain good head retention and then have a little bit of body.
Depends who's pouring.
Pouring. Maybe that one hasn't got any in it.
Mine's got, this one had less wheat.
But the beer is simple. It's made to be the simple beer, the easy drinker, the thirst-slaking beer on the hot day. And it's our biggest seller.
Yeah, for sure.
The summer ale through the taps.
It's very refreshing. Very refreshing. And a good way to start the day. Easy to brew?
Before lunch. It's as easy as the rest of them. The brewing process, if we want to go down
let's
that
get
path,
into the brewing process.
it pretty much follows the same principles. Doesn't matter which beer you're making. And I'm generalising here. There is exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But it's just as easy to make. But I do make as much of this as I can in a batch. So really, if you like your efficiencies and talking about numbers, I'm trying to maximise the brewery to get this beer out.
Yeah.
Because it's a beer that I can do that on. Whereas some of the others, you're not inefficient, but you're able to use the brewery to its full potential when you're making this sort of beer.
So how much of this would we make?
A year? Probably a batch a month. So maybe 12 batches a year.
Yeah. And how much is in the batch?
A batch size is 1,200 litres.
Okay, depending on the brewery, isn't it, obviously?
Yeah, so you can do the numbers and add that up if you like. But
just quickly?
Right. But the idea is to keep the batch size small. Yeah, 12 by 12.
Right, okay.
So there's your answer. The idea is to keep the batches small in volume because it keeps the beer fresh. So it's no good brewing a beer like this, one giant batch, and then have it sitting around for the rest of the year. Got a beer like this, you want it to be nice and fresh, so you can get those nice characters out of it.
And how long would it last?
It'll last 12 months tasting like this, no worries.
Any longer in a can?
A beer like this, you probably wouldn't age it.
Yeah.
It's a nice, fresh beer.
It's too good anyway. It's not like
it's made to be drunk. It's made to be drunk.
All right. So what would we pair with it? Or is it
this is your all-rounder.
Okay.
So you'd be able to pair anything with it. It's because it's light and refreshing, and you want to talk about matching it with food. It's just good to cut through the flavours of the food.
Yeah.
So if you have something like your stronger Metwurst or your
what are we going to have? What are we?
Well, let's tuck into some Metwurst.
Some Metwurst.
Yeah.
Righto.
Yeah.
You're in charge of food.
Well,
yeah. So
I'll do the honours of eating the first beer.
Righto.
Yeah.
So extremely fruity.
Yeah,
I'm getting a lot of fruit coming through it.
Yeah, so that's from the hops.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 hops in there. One's a traditional European hop to help that sort of soft, easy drinking character.
Yeah.
If you think the light European lagers. Okay. And you've also got an Australian hop called Summer. So hence the name Summer Ale.
Right.
So
I thought it was Summer Ale because it was good to drink in summer.
Well, it all fits under the banner, doesn't it? It all works out. So you've got the 2 hops working together. Summer's probably a little nice and fruity, and the traditional European hops, that sort of spicy hop character. Yeah.
It doesn't taste like a real hoppy beer though.
It's not an overly hopped beer. No.
I think that's why I like it.
You've got just enough bitterness there to support the malt. But
does it have more malt in it?
No, the malt's there to kind of give it flavour.
Yeah.
But also to provide the sugar for the alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's not a high alcohol beer. So the malt's sort of subdued.
Okay.
Everything's sort of subdued.
So alcohol-wise, it is about.
It's 4.2.
All right.
So
okay.
Right on that sort of.
Usual summery ale sort of.
Yeah.
Not much stronger than a mid-strength, really, is it?
No.
0.7 stronger than a mid-strength.
Yeah.
It's for a lighter beer, it's got a lot more taste than some.
Yeah.
So good work, man.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah.
All
Cheers. Right. Give it a shot with the.
I'm going to give it a bit
food
of
to see how it sort of changes the character of the beer. Always good footage, just long shots of people eating.
That's when we need.
Just enjoying themselves.
It's about the only time I need Holly. Is when I'm eating. For her to say something silly.
But it also really brings out the flavour.
It does.
So, you know,
Kind of took the fruitiness away. The Metwurst.
well, as garlic sort of pretty much overpowers everything.
Yeah, pretty much. But it is a great beer and a sensational way to start. I think we might have to rename this show the SA Beer Weekly and just do breweries without Holly.
Be better.
It would be better, wouldn't it? It would be much better. Then at least I know what I'm talking about. So tell me about these tasting paddles. When someone comes to the brewery, what's the cost?
It's $20.
$20, and you get 4
Best
butchers.
value in the state.
Best value. Well, you're talking it up.
4 butchers. Anything you'd like.
Anything you like.
Yeah, anything on tap.
So hard lemonade.
You can do
4 hard lemonade.
4 hard lemonade. Some people do that.
Yeah. The cheapskates do that. Yep.
Yeah. If you want to sample 4 hard lemonades, come to the brewery and try.
So,
But it's a good way to taste just a smaller selection of the range. So you don't have to commit to a pint of each one. You can have a small sample, drink it over the time you're here, and you're still okay to drive your kids home.
yeah. Or you can come and get a taxi or something and have a paddle,
Absolutely.
then pick which one you like the best and have a few pints.
That's right.
Yeah, that's the way to do it,
Yeah.
for sure. So great value, $20, whatever beers you want, and butchers a beer. Usually the paddles at other breweries are a little bit smaller, so that's great value. Excellent. So what are we going to go on for beer 2?
We're going to look at the Amazon Ale.
Amazon Ale.
Which was our original beer of the brewery, the first beer that we started making 10 years ago.
10 years ago?
It's over 10 years ago now. So it's a classic Australian pale ale.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. How long have you been brewing here for?
Nearly 10 years.
Nearly 10 years?
Yeah.
So you were here when it started?
I came about a year after they'd started brewing.
Yeah.
And it was a small start, just with the one beer. We're probably brewing 1 batch a month.
Yeah.
We only had 1 tank, and I'll show the brewery afterwards as well, so you can wrap your head around the sort of growth that we've gone through, which hasn't been monstrous, but it's been pretty big for an old shearing shed on the banks of the river.
Yeah, not a great big beer. Well, it's hard, isn't it? Because the costs for tanks and things like that is huge, and starting off, you can only make a certain amount of beer, which you have to sell at a certain price to make a profit.
That's right.
And to grow is really difficult.
And sort of had to test the waters.
Yeah.
Get that 1 beer out, and just see where it went from there.
So this is where we started.
So this is where it all started. Yeah.
So an Australian pale ale.
An Australian pale ale, being that it's Australian malt, Australian hops.
Yeah.
The rest made in Australia.
Right. Is it Australian style or?
Pale ale is quite a common style. It's a pretty international sort of style, but this is the Australian version of that.
And where did pale start?
Pale historically started probably in the UK.
Yeah.
With the advent of pale malt. So most beers used to be a lot darker because of how they used to malt the grain.
Yeah.
But Industrial Revolution, yada yada yada.
Right.
That'll come along, and they changed how they make malt, and then they started to make beers that were sort of lighter and clearer. And cheers. Well done. And it kind of grew from there. But it's a classic beer, and based on a sort of a historical style.
So would you call yourself a craft brewer or an independent brewer?
Brewer.
A brewer.
Make beer. So, but yeah, if you want to categorise it into those.
Well, to me, it doesn't taste like a craft beer. It tastes better. I'm not, to be honest. It doesn't taste like a mass-produced beer, but it tastes like beer.
Yeah.
Some craft beers you get that are just way too over the top.
Well, I mean.
Or haven't we got there yet?
We can get there.
Yeah, we can get there.
We're starting off gentle, right? Mm-hmm. But no, we're making beers that we all like to drink.
Yes.
Here. So some accessible beers, and there's some not challenging beers, but beers some real interest that someone who might want to delve down that path.
So a bit of a beer connoisseur might come along.
Yeah, if there's such a thing.
Yeah, there is such a thing. There's beer appreciation clubs.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Got a mate in Melbourne who's in part of there's about 10 of them.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to bring the same beer. So they meet once a month and they always have to bring a different beer.
And you'll get a little sip.
No, they bring a 6-pack. You get a beer each, or 12, depending on how many's going.
Yeah.
And they record it. They're pretty anal. They record it in a spreadsheet and they rate it, and you get a penalty if you bring the wrong beer.
Yeah.
So if it's been done before,
It's extreme.
that is extreme.
Yeah.
And they pour it into a big glass and they let it sit. And I learned a lot when I went there.
Yeah. It's a
learned
good way of finding a lot of interesting beers.
It is.
Yeah.
And seeing they're from Victoria, it was easy for me because I took South Australian small breweries and
they hadn't seen them before.
they hadn't seen them before.
And they go, where is South Australia?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, they're not out in anyway, are they? So
No, there's a lot of good beers over there.
there is a lot of good beers over there.
But now to answer your question, we are independent. We're an independent brewery, as in not owned by, someone behind the scenes. We're here. We are the people making a beer for the people who want to come and drink it. So it's, you come here supporting us, not some overseas business.
That's really important, isn't it?
And I mean, if you want to celebrate that thing, and I really passionately think you should.
Yeah.
It is important.
I know, it's extremely important. And in the Riverland, or let's just say Renmark, everybody seems to be working together for a common goal, and everyone's got great products, which helps. But we've noticed that already. We've done a few shows, but everybody is all about using each other's produce, which makes for a great community. And it doesn't happen enough.
No, well, that's what it's not easy sometimes.
No.
But there is a really good sense of community here, and we do try to work together to showcase what the region is all about and what we produce. I mean, as you would have seen at Rosto yesterday, we work quite closely with them. And a lot of other local producers around the place. I mean, the whole spread here in front of you is all locally sourced as well.
Even the Mozzies?
Even the visitors that come in to have it.
Well, in a Woolshed, you'd expect even flies, really, wouldn't you? But luckily, we haven't got that. So, another very easy drinking, quite tasty, a bit bitter as well, which I really like.
So maybe a little step up from the summer. Not huge, but just a little step up. A little bit more malt, so a little high alcohol as well. Some more hops thrown at it, so bitterness comes up, fruitiness comes up. It's sort of like your all-rounder, your classic pale ale.
Doesn't seem
for a lot of occasions.
Doesn't seem like there's any higher in alcohol content though.
No, it's about the same. It's just a little higher, 4.5%. So just starting to come up to that sort of full strength zone.
Yeah. What is full strength? 4.9.
Well, it's a broad church, but maybe you'd say 4.5 to 5.5. You'd say as your sort of more common,
Is this the lower end of a pale ale?
Yeah. It's not full on in your face hop regime either, so it's pretty approachable.
Oh, very much so, and easy to drink. So, what would we pair with it?
Again, it's a good all rounder. So I mean, you'd be your great barbecue food, great cheese platter, sort of style.
Okay. So cheese.
Yeah, we'll actually go.
What are we going to go?
Taste some of these olives. These are from Waikerie, from Talunka Creek.
Some of the local olives.
Yeah,
I'm just going to go put my fingers.
There's a whole mix. Get in there. Yeah. There's a whole.
I think just take the biggest one that's in there.
Take the biggest one. What I find with olives and beer is the bitterness of the olives kind of matches with the bitterness of beer, and you can really kind of complement those flavours. But yeah, I love olives. Big fan. Yeah. Big fan of it on the cheese platter.
Big wine show, we're quite partial to the olives as well. Because obviously they use it a lot to cleanse the palate. Even in the wine show, we went behind the scenes of a wine show, and all they had on the table was some olives and a little bit of cheese to cleanse the palate. Now, tasting 120 wines a day.
Yeah.
Shit job, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Geez, their teeth would be red.
It wouldn't they? Well, they don't actually drink it; they spit it out. But
Yeah.
I thought I'd have a crack at it one year and just drinking it. Yeah. We'll see if it actually really tasted any good. The bitterness of the olive goes so well with this beer. I think this is the sort of beer that'd go well with anything though.
That's right. It's another good all-rounder, good classic.
Good barbecue beer.
And that's why these beers are a bit more common than a bit more. What would the word be? Well liked, I suppose.
Appreciated?
Yeah.
I'm appreciating it, I'll tell you that much. Still pretty light. It's not
Yeah.
Doesn't seem as pale as a usual pale.
No, it's starting to get a bit more golden. There's some what we call caramel malt in there, and that just to kind of lift the malty flavour. So you kind of get that biscuity character starting to come through in a beer like this.
Yeah, it's just so easy to drink again, which is a credit to you guys, because that's the whole aim, isn't it? The easier it is to drink, the more people drink, the more you sell.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
It's got to stand the pint test. Would you have a pint of it?
Would I have a pint of it? One? There's no such thing as one in a row, is it? I would definitely have a couple of pints of that, sitting out, looking over the river. The 2-pint test,
And then you know it's a good one.
Yeah, well, that's what we had one of the lads from Malt Brewing on. Just started out, tiny little brewer. Actually makes some exceptional beers. He's been doing it for a long time. He's just gone out on his own, and he said there's no such thing as a one taste test. You've got to at least have the double taste. Yeah, so I brought that up with the wife. She didn't agree, but it might be something. The 2-pint.
Later on.
Yeah, now we've moved it to the 2-pint test.
Yeah,
that's much better.
Yeah.
All right, that beer too.
So they're Amazon.
Delicious. And the first beer you guys ever made.
That's right. Yeah, it was a real classic style at the time. So you think 10 years ago. Or even 11, 12 years ago, when the brewery is still in its sort of conceptual phase, this style of beer was sort of the standout in the sort of the craft beer scene. There weren't all these other beers around, and a lot less imported beers as well. And IPA, in Australia was barely even talked about.
It was unheard of, wasn't it?
That sort of stuff. Dark ales were, people would still scratch their heads at how a beer could be dark.
Yeah. Except the old boys.
Well, that's right.
The old diggers didn't.
There'd be whispers in the front bar of a stout keg being tapped, and that sort of stuff. But nowadays you've got the whole range available.
It's changed so much, hasn't it? Even when I was a kid, there was a West End dominated, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they brought out all the rubbish beers, the supers and the Eagle Bitters and Eagle Blues, and then now the kids are just spoiled for choice, aren't they?
Spoiled for choice.
Just
and the Eagle Blues are
gone,
pushed off the shelves.
Long gone. The whole thing gone. Wow. Just opens up more sales for you guys, really, doesn't it?
Well, they blamed us. And
they blamed you.
If we've knocked them off the perch, then it's another notch in the bedpost.
I've got an opinion on that. I think that the land's worth more than what the brewery is.
Well, that's another conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, you watch high-rise accommodation.
Well,
for the nurses, when the new hospital's been built not far away. Wouldn't be a bad spot, really. Train right out front,
It's a fantastic spot.
I think what they should do with it is they should lease it to the smaller brewers, and they can lease a part of it.
Share it.
And share it. So the guys can make more beer, which will drop the price of their beer, keep the quality the same, and then give the guys an absolute leg up, even if it was for a couple of years, till they build a new one.
You get to put the dollars in the slot to get the water out, though.
Yeah, true.
The fountain at the front.
No, it's free.
It's free.
It's free. You see the guys in the Mercedes pull up and get their free water.
Bring my tanker along.
Yeah, you should.
When I'm short of water.
Fill it up. Well, up here you get short of water. Not this year.
Well, that's another feature of beer. We brew all rainwater.
Yes.
So it is a unique angle because rainwater's varying supply through the year. But yeah, all rainwater.
So how many tanks, how much catchment have you got for the rainwater?
It's all off the roofs, all around. So each roof has got a tank on it, and I'm basically moving water, all feeding it into the brew house.
Is that unique?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's different because it's unreliable. It's difficult to source.
Yes. It's making your job harder, isn't it?
It's another thing you have to manage.
Yeah.
I do call on the neighbours to empty their tanks as well and share some water.
Steal some water from the neighbours.
Swap it for beer. So turn water into beer. And, Yeah, and beer into water.
Wow. Any neighbouring properties for sale? That'd be a good deal, I reckon.
Yeah.
All right, so I think as much as I'm almost finished my butcher, we'll move on to beer 3.
Yes, the big orange.
I've been looking forward to this one.
So the Big Orange.
The Big Orange.
It's a sour beer.
A sour beer.
A style kind of expanded to be a kettle sour. So in brewing terms, it's a quick sour. There's sort of two camps of sours. There's a long barrel aged, long term sour beers that are probably a bit more challenging than this. This is a nice, light, slightly soured fruit addition. So it's easy, recognisable flavours, and it creates a really interesting beer. You notice the head disappears on it.
Yeah, really quickly.
Because of the acidity. The acidity kills the head. It's like, unlike the other beers, that head clings and stays on. Even though the recipe of the beer is predominantly wheat, which is known for having a good, strong head.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting feature of the beer.
Fruit, obviously.
The whole process is a bit more complicated than brewing a standard ale.
Yeah.
It goes through, it's a 2-day process. It goes through the brew house and is soured with lactobacillus. So same as yogurt, what's used to make yogurt, and that starts creating lactic acid, and then that's where the acidity comes from. So then that beer is soured. It's using the malt sugar and energy to sour the beer.
All right.
And yeah.
I'm really interested to have a taste.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Fruit is added. We're using fresh orange juice, being in the Riverland, big citrus area, to kind of lift it up. But sour, orange and citrus and sour, it all works together.
It almost didn't even taste like beer.
Yeah. It's a non-beer drinker's beer.
Oh, do the ladies like it?
Mm.
I think they. Girls who don't like beer,
everyone likes it.
Yeah.
Everyone likes the beer. You know, if you're not accustomed to those malty, hoppy flavours, this is something totally different.
Wow.
It's still beer, being malt based, hops, but it's soured and with fruit. So very interesting, and only 4% alcohol. So
okay.
You know, it keeps it light, keeps it easy to drink. So
could be a morning beer. Or a Clayton's.
Good brekkie beer.
A Clayton's when you're having a beer when you shouldn't be having a beer.
A good breakfast beer.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
What an original taste. I haven't ever tasted anything like it.
Yeah. We actually brewed this one with Left Barrel Brewing years ago, as for a beer festival, and it was just a hit. And we thought, right, we got to keep making this beer.
Okay.
And it's one of our biggest sellers now. Yeah.
And how long have you been brewing it for?
About 3 years.
About 3 years.
Yeah. About the last year, I've really got it onto the the tap lineup and out there.
Yeah.
And once people kind of get that taste for it, it's
Well, I must mention to everybody as well that the format of these shows, all you need to do either on YouTube or on Facebook is comment, have a chat about the beer, throw in your comments whether you'd like to taste it, where do you buy it from, these sort of things, and you have the chance to win every single product that we're tasting.
That's right.
And some of the awesome merch as well, hats, stubby holders. There's even some t-shirts and jumpers like you're
like I'm sporting
modelling,
right here.
like you're modelling right there.
You can look as good as this.
If you can look as good as this, or hang on a minute, look at this. You can win an awesome jumper, and you can win an awesome t-shirt with no print on the back.
No, we've gone with the classic.
Classic, yeah.
It's the classic style.
Very nice, very nice. Thanks, Adrian. So yeah, comment. Can win a 6-pack of these amazing beers, and what a show! All you have to do is comment, and you can win beer.
I'll be commenting.
Yeah, I'll be.
I've got a few comments.
Yeah, I was thinking about making an alias up. Making an alias up on Facebook and commenting, but Adriana said she wouldn't choose me anyway. I don't get to choose the winners.
Get befriended.
Because I'd be too... Yeah.
You can be Gaithan Road.
Gaithan Node. Oh, well, if it gets me beer, I'll be it. So, this is totally different. I was really looking forward to tasting this beer as well. What would we, food-wise? Now, this is going to be difficult.
No, it's really easy. Sour beer is excellent with cheese.
Right.
Because the sourness cuts through the fat of cheese.
Okay.
So that sort of that sort of creaminess. So I've got a camembert here.
Righto.
So
Slicing that. What are these biscuits?
Give it a little shot.
Oh, I've got to do that.
There's some charcoal biscuits from the Barossa Cheese Co. The same as the Baby Burt there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no cheese makers here in the Riverland, so we've gone as close as we could.
And are you the only brewery in Riverland?
Yes.
Yeah.
The closest brewery is interstate. Is in Mildura. Oh, thank you. And then obviously getting towards Barossa, there's a few great breweries up there as well. But only brewery in the Riverland. Which is good.
Right. I would think of having cheese with this beer, so I'm looking forward to tasting it.
Great cheese platter beer. So, yeah. A lot of cheese obviously can get a bit oily, a bit greasy, with a high carbonation. Really cuts through. The acidity really cuts that through. Bit of a palate cleanser, if you will. You know, get you started on the next little bite. Yeah.
It actually works really well as a palate cleanser.
Yeah. And then you're sort of back to a, your palate's sort of been reset, back to ready to go again.
Yeah.
And you can eat a lot of cheese that way. Just keep going.
It actually worked really well.
Yeah, 3 or 4 kilos in a sitting.
Oh, jeez. There want to be a lot of beers in that sitting.
Yeah.
Wow. When I first looked at it, I thought orange in a beer, you're just ruining beer. But I've been wrong. I've actually been wrong.
Yeah. The sound's been
very often.
a great way. I've heard.
Yeah.
The sound's been a great way to introduce fruit to a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why it works so well, because of the sour.
I think so. I mean, you can have that beer with no fruit. You can have a sour beer with no fruit, and it is obviously there's a little less to work with those flavours.
Yeah.
But I think the fruit really just kind of lifts it to the next level.
Oh, and being in the Riverland, obviously oranges.
Fits in
Plentiful. Yeah. And this could really take off as the Riverland's beer.
You should.
It should, shouldn't it?
Take off
It's good marketing, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Riverland's beer.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's been a bit of fun, bit of a winner, the Big Orange.
Yeah. Any marketing at the Big Orange with it?
It could be.
They should
Project
be.
it up. We should bring it here. That's what I think. Roll it down the highway, up to the top of the hill.
Right, at least
On your way past, give it a push.
pick it up, bring it down. Right,
Yeah.
We could fit it there.
Yeah, fit it on top of the van. Yeah, we could. Nah, excellent work. To be honest, I was dreading it. I was thinking, orange in a beer, it's not going to work.
It always surprises a lot of people. Yeah.
And for non-beer lovers, I think they would really like it. It would be a good entry to beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, it's sort of showing what beer can be as well, without just being your run-of-the-mill beers. You know, it's a bit left of centre.
Imagine your beer traditionalists, they would never ever thought of an orange beer, would they?
No, they probably might turn their nose up at it.
No, they wouldn't ever thought of doing it.
No.
But they'd like it.
Yeah.
Especially first beer the next day, they'd love it.
Yeah, it's the best time to have it.
It is the best time to have it. Or if you know what it would be really good at? It's on the wine show. And then these fancy winemakers come on as a palate cleanser between wines. Yeah, well, that was a little hint, yeah.
They'd stop enjoying wine.
You reckon they wouldn't go to the next wine? They'd just say, can I have
They'd give up.
Yeah, well, that's probably a pretty good point. Excellent work. So we've gone through the lighter beers now. We're heading on to...
Yeah.
I've been quite looking forward to. Judas.
Judas the Dart.
Yeah.
Now, a bit of history about this beer. It's our second beer of the brewery that we made after Amazon Ale. So we've been making that for quite a long time. So it's a bit more of a traditional style dark ale, but it's brewed with roasted wattle seed. So native Australian ingredient.
Yeah.
Our neighbour up the road grows native Australian produce, and wattle seed is his main product. So he does all the growing, all the roasting, and turns it into the wattle seed product, which we then get here and brew the beer with.
Is that in the jar there? Is that what it said?
Yes. So wattle seed. they're the wattle seeds in the pods like that. They grow on the tree, on the bush. This is the harvested wattle seed here. So that's the raw product that's harvested, and Mark roasts and extracts the flavour from the wattle seed.
So once again, people working together.
That's right.
I reckon I saw it somewhere else too. It was in the coffee gelati, I reckon.
Yes, it is. Yeah. His products pop up around the place. We've got his sticky balsamic wattle seed vinegar down in the local produce area too. So it's very versatile product.
Yeah.
But what it gives is a real nutty, hazelnutty character.
Okay.
So should we try the beer?
Yeah, let's go
what
for
I'm
it.
talking about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can't see through it.
Well, I want to talk about that because it's not so heavy, this beer.
Oh, you can.
It's just a really deep ruby red.
It's almost
colour.
a red ale colour, isn't it?
Yeah. So that comes from the malt side of things, but it's not a big, heavy, rich stout. And not all dark beers have to be heavy and dense and rich like chocolate cake. You know, they can be lighter and easy drinking, and this is what we've tried to do here. A bit of balance of the two. You've got some big flavour, but it's not super dense and rich like a stout. It's a traditional dark ale is the style.
Yeah.
And we've just layered the wattle seed in there quite nicely.
And what are we talking about percentage-wise?
4.7%.
Right.
So again, not over, it's not over the 5%, getting into your heavier sort of beers.
Is that unusual for a dark? Cheers.
Maybe.
Ooh.
So you got that dry,
Yeah.
roasty character,
Very roasty character.
and that sort of hazelnutty character.
Yeah. Very nutty.
Yeah. So you've got,
That was my call was going to be. It's very nutty.
that's
Yeah.
the wattle seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unique flavour.
It is, and tasty.
Very
flavour.
tasty. Yeah. Oh, another taste. Cause
And good for you.
Yeah. Good for you.
Of course.
Of course. Dark beer is good for you, or the wattle seed? Both.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. Of course it is.
So not over the top, not a big stout, which we do have. We do have some really bigger beers, but we could be here all afternoon and get to them all. But this is definitely a showcase one because it's got those a lot of different elements in there.
Oh, it's very unique. It's got to be the wattle seed, I think. Does many other brewers use wattle seed?
There has been a few in the past. Yeah. It's pretty versatile ingredient. You can use it, and not just in dark beers. I've seen it in some lighter style stuff too.
I'm getting straight away very easy to drink. Very easy to drink because usually they're not. I find them a little bit difficult to drink, or not difficult to drink, but good on a cold night or something. I would say.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, you can drink this in summer, no worries.
And
I guess you've got to be like that because it's so hot out here and during summer as well.
Yeah, it's a good mainstay beer for the brewery. It's never really died off. The Remote Hotel has had it on tap the whole time since we've made it. So for about 9 years straight, we've had the Judas Dark Ale on tap. It's been such a favourite there.
Where'd the name come from?
Actually, that's probably that's a good question. The Judas the Dark. Sort of referencing that darker side of things.
Yeah.
But the Judas refers to a Judas sheep. That there used to be a Judas sheep at this property, and a Judas sheep is a sheep that leads all the others around. And traditionally, in a slaughterhouse, leads them to slaughter, and then he just zips off.
Right.
So then he does it to the next flock and the next flock, and he's known as the Judas sheep. And there was a sheep out here that did that, but not to a slaughterhouse, just for the shearing shed.
Right.
Wow.
That,
it was not that dark a connotation.
That is an amazing, useless but interesting fact.
There you go.
Yeah. We love useless but... Well, it's not...
When you're
not
in the bar,
exactly
there's
useless.
some useless facts slung
Yeah, I'll
about.
store them. I don't remember anything else about the useless, interesting facts. And a little bit, I actually do remember a little bit, so I can mimic it so I look like I know what I'm talking about.
Next time you're in the front bar, you can tell them all about it.
Yeah, I can. I can talk about the wattle seed, how it's harvested, and about the Judas sheep. Yeah, well.
So that's where we want to stick.
That'll stick, yeah. That'll definitely
The
stick.
stories we want to.
And it's been so educational already.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
that's what happens when you got the head
Learning,
roller.
drinking and
Talking
learning.
about it. Drinking, learning, working.
I'm working.
Working.
It's tough.
Well, they call it work.
It's tough work.
Yeah, it's a hard job, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's Judas. Judas the Dark.
I like him very much. And I'm guessing that we'd have to complement it with nuts.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's right.
What have we got?
So we've got some locally flavoured almonds. A big almond industry here in the Riverland, as you would have seen.
Yeah.
And yeah, this time of year you were seeing all the almond orchards sort of starting to come back into season. So yeah, some big farms out here. But yeah, some locally flavoured stuff. So barbecue, again, barbecue flavours. Yeah.
That was quite surprising. It actually overpowered the taste of the wattle seed. That was great. Not that I don't like the taste of the wattle seed, but
But it means you can go back again.
Yeah. I have to have another almond
Revisit
and
it.
another.
So there you go. There's your pint test again.
It's working.
It's working.
Yeah, well, that's a great little pairing. And obviously, there's no shortage of almonds around Riverland either.
No, that's right. But yeah, we've got all these down at our local produce area, and there's a whole range of different varieties and flavours.
Once again, supporting local as much as we can.
Yeah.
And they, people quite often, after they have a platter, they go down and buy the local produce.
You can buy it to take away.
Yeah.
If you don't finish all of this, you can pack it up and take it home.
Right. Excellent. I think Crew's eyes just lit up.
Well, they just get the leftovers.
Yeah, they get the leftovers. That's it. And there's no leftover beer because it's too good. So. Well, I think that was a great pairing. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
I actually
beer
thought more
was-
nuts. It doesn't need more nuts, but it actually took away the nuttiness of it. Yeah, bizarre. Very, very easy drinking dark beer.
Not overpowering.
No.
No, that's the aim of it. So what makes it dark in the brewing process is what's known as chocolate malt. It's
Okay.
quite. It's not an overly roasted malt. It's just slightly roasted, and it gives you that deep cocoa sort of character, and it turns the beer dark.
Yeah.
You don't need much of it. You don't even need a huge amount of it in the brewing process to start turning beer away from that pale colour. You know, so.
Is that where beer originally started? Was it always a darker ale to start with, you think?
Well, traditionally, long time ago,
Yeah.
you know, we're talking European
1850s,
styles,
yeah.
that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then, you know, beers over the last 100 years became really modernised to your modernised lager sort of style, right? And that's the most popular style in the world for good reason, because it's beautiful to drink. It's great fun to drink. They're really light and they're made to be flavourless and light and easy drinking.
Yeah.
But you start introducing those traditional malts back into the beer, and you can really get some interesting flavours in there. You get start making the beers dark again and create.
You know, what you've done really well is bring those traditional flavours back in, but keep it easy drinking. So
Yeah.
great work.
Cheers.
All right, so what everyone's been hanging out for, no doubt. If anybody knows anything about the Woolshed, they know about the hard lemonade.
I've heard about the notorious hard lemonade.
So
Yeah.
let's have a crack.
Should we stop drinking beer and go on to the lemonade?
I don't know if I want to stop drinking beer. Got any more beers? Nah, let's have a crack at the lemonade. We haven't got all day. Pity we don't have all day.
We'll have a look at that. You want to know?
Tell me the story about the hard lemonade.
So the hard lemonade, it's a wine product. So we made it to be something for the non-beer drinker that we just couldn't talk into having a beer, if you know what I mean. To provide a product that's again classic Riverland, so lemon citrus. You know?
Of course.
We created this product about 6 years ago now. Started on tap only and just sort of small batches, but it just took off from there. So then since then we bottled it, but now we've started to move away from bottles, but we've moved towards cans.
How long ago did we move toward cans?
About a year ago.
Yeah.
So it was, a really big move for us because bottles.
Pretty hefty investment, no doubt.
Big investment for the brewery, but it's paid off in spades. So yeah, it's really good.
Let's go.
Cheers. So the lemonade.
Lemonade.
Normally drunk in jugs, not punches.
In jugs. Oh.
So we've actually got a really fresh batch at the moment, using the latest vintage of wine.
Yeah.
But without giving away our
secret
recipe, it's a co-fermented beverage with lemon.
Yeah.
Our wine, and we package it here and make it fresh. And again, those small batches keep the product fresh and just keep it really, really accessible. Now,
what variety wine is it?
that might be one of the secrets.
Yeah.
Lemons.
That's classified.
The answer is lemons.
Yeah. It's classified. If I tell you, I have to kill you.
But what was I saying about the lemon? Again, it's simple. It's 8% alcohol.
Yeah.
So because of the wine base, it creates an 8% product.
Heavy for a beer, but light for a wine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in between.
Yeah.
But
that's right. Light for a wine. But see, when people are drinking it like this by the glass or maybe by the schooner or pint, 8% is quite a good bang for buck.
I can imagine just sitting on the deck in the sun, drinking pints of this.
Perfect, and we serve it on ice, so it's that perfect summer refreshing beverage.
It'd catch a few people out, I reckon. Wouldn't it?
Yeah,
especially with all these quality beers first, and then onto the lemonades just before you head home.
If you go through the whole range and end on a lemonade, you've had a great afternoon.
You have had a great afternoon in the sun on the deck. Would be.
It really has become a classic and a real mainstay for the brewery. So it's great.
At 8%, I would go as far as to say that's the easiest drinking 8% alcohol. Almost a cruiser style.
Yeah.
The girls would love it, and at 8%, the boys would love the girls loving it, I reckon.
Yeah, a drink for everyone.
Even a drink for the gluten-free people.
Gluten-free.
Yeah.
And
vegans
on tap. It is vegan.
No, vegan friendly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vegan
there you
friendly.
go. Gluten friendly, vegan friendly.
Yep.
Yeah. Lady friendly.
Being no animal products. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's right.
Well, I feel like we've learnt so much. Would you bother pairing this with food?
I'd recommend eating beforehand.
Eating beforehand and during. A hefty meal during. Excellent.
Yeah.
So I want to say thanks heaps for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
You've done an amazing job. And don't forget that everything that we've seen on the show today is available to win. So all you got to do is throw your comments on Facebook, throw your comments on YouTube, and Adriana gets to choose. She doesn't accept bribes, or maybe. So throw some comments out there. Have your chance to win these amazing products. Once again, thanks heaps for coming on.
Not a worry.
It was so educational.
Thanks for coming
Even for me, who thinks himself as a beer connoisseur anyway.
Thanks for listening to me waffle on.
No, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I'm sure that everybody viewing will love it as well. So thanks heaps.
Cheers.
No worries.
No worries. Thanks a lot.